Almost one whole year ago, I uploaded a video on Pixar's megacorporation, by and large, and how it could connect to the main villain of The Incredibles, Syndrome. This was a theory I really enjoyed making, simply because it was a ton of fun delving into the backstory of the company that took over the world and then trashed it. But honestly, BNL is a large part of the Pixar theory that's not discussed nearly enough. It's a worldwide powerhouse that controls all political, social, and economic matters, branding and monopolizing everything in its path. In my last theory, I attempted to figure out which Pixar character actually started the company in the first place, but today, I'm looking at several things. BNL's involvement in destroying the Earth, CEO Shelby Forthright, certain aspects from Cars 2, and how they all tied together in a super interesting way. Ready for a theory? Hey everyone! Incredibles 2 is just 8 days away, and if you think for a second that I'm not excited to see Jack laser beam his dad's hair off, then you'd be extremely wrong. A video on that will be coming the week after the movie's release, the 21st I think, and yeah, I can't wait. But today, I won't be theorizing on the second movie that's incredible, or even the first one, but instead, a film that is truly undervalued by many Pixar fans, WALL-E. For those of you who haven't seen this somewhat heartwarming movie, I shall give a synopsis right now. WALL-E is a robot who's the last remaining living thing on Earth, and his job is to scrunch up all the trash that lies around the planet into tiny cubes. During the film, he discovers an actual plant on the planet, after the Earth had been left dead for centuries, as well as another robot named Eve. After the captain of a spaceship is given orders to abort the mission of repopulating the Earth, WALL-E and Eve have to work together to bring life back to the planet and save the human race. So that's how the film stands on its own, but where does it lie in John Negronis' Pixar Theory? Well, it's actually one of the most decisive moments on the timeline. WALL-E takes place in the 29th century, hundreds of years after Earth had become uninhabitable for humans due to the corporation By and Large. As I said earlier, By and Large started growing its company in the 20th century and continued to do so until they had ultimately taken over the world. By this point, however, its conquering actions had filled the Earth with trash, and by the year 2100, humans were unable to live there any longer. By and Large sent all of the remaining humans into outer space on ships, with the largest and most prominent being the Axiom. WALL-E takes place during this time period, and the Rubik's Cube-obsessed robot goes on to save the human race for the time being by discovering a plant on Earth and convincing the captain of the Axiom to repopulate the Earth. But where does the actual theory come in, you might ask? Well, Directive A113. This was the title of the order given by BNL CEO Shelby Forthright to abort the mission of returning to Earth. After the Axiom was put into flight, Forthright's supposed plan was broken up into two sections, Operation Cleanup and Operation Recolonize. But when seeing how the first of the two wasn't going that well, the CEO decided to cancel the whole thing, ruling that Earth was officially uninhabitable for humans, and that no one was to ever return there. This message was already somewhat fishy when it's shown in WALL-E, but when looking more into it, I have found a ton of things that have led me to drastic and dark conclusions. The sheer fact that Directive A113 was commissioned in the year 2110, as stated in the movie, makes it very suspicious. WALL-E takes place in the 29th century, meaning that the directive was issued about 700 years beforehand. Also, the 22nd century is precisely when the Cars movies take place, and it seems extremely odd that By and Large would choose to give up on the Earth at the moment Cars were living on it just fine. What makes it even weirder is that Operation Cleanup was proposed in about the year 2105, which would mean that the corporation turned on their own mission just 5 years after proposing it. All of these facts make it seem that even though they introduced it to the public, By and Large never wanted to go through with repopulating the Earth. Why wouldn't they want to? Well, here's where things get interesting. The Pixar theory suggests that as time went on, By and Large became increasingly run by artificial intelligence and machines instead of humans. The company started taking over in the 1950s, and at that point they were run by humans only, but by the time humans are being evacuated on the Axiom, its nucleus mainly consists of machines. Examples of this are the Otto and Eve units in WALL-E. By the 22nd century, BNL is a machine-run corporation, with only a few humans left running the company. One of those humans is the CEO, Shelby Forthright. It seems like he makes all of the corporate decisions, such as issuing Directive A113. But does it make sense that a company made up of AI would be run by a human? No, it's much more likely that Forthright is simply a puppet for the machines, and that he was hijacked by them to carry out their plans, but more on this a bit later. Right now, I want to go back to why BNL never wanted to repopulate the Earth, and why they proposed Operation Recolonize when 5 years later they would commission Directive A113. If machines didn't want humans to return to their home planet, then they must have desired for them to stay up in space aboard the Axiom, as there's no alternate solution. This makes perfect sense. The Pixar Theory suggests that while keeping humans on the Axiom, machines developed a newfound sense of purpose because they knew that humans depended on them. Yes, on Earth the humans were dependent on by and large as well, but in space the machines are providing them every single thing, including a place to live. Humans would be lost without the machines in space, which provides more dependence and money for by and large. If you look back at it, you can actually see how BNL's master plan actually started unfolding from the beginning. On Earth, the megacorporation became more and more powerful politically, economically, and socially, conquering the human environment, and in space, people are even more attached to the company and machines. But if we want to take this a whole level deeper and more sinister, also look at what BNL did during the time that they ruled the Earth. Trashing the whole place and polluting the air until it was impossible for humans to live there was no accident. The AI realized that if Earth was taken away, humans would have no choice but to rely on by and large for literally everything. It's all a carefully constructed master plan put together by the artificial intelligence of BNL. But you might be asking, then why did the machines propose operations clean up and recolonize in the first place? If they never wished for humans to go back to Earth, then why come up with the ideas, or why not just destroy the Earth? Well, remember that the machines are after human dependence, and for them to have that, they also need human trust. If everyone knew that BNL wanted to hold them captive in a spaceship for thousands of years, there would be revolts and uprisings against the machines and the company. For the plan to work, by and large needed humans to think that they were trying to return to the Earth, but in reality, the operation was a complete ruse. This also explains why the CEO of the corporation is a human. Shelby Forthright isn't making the corporate decisions, he's simply a tool used by the AI to even further gain the trust of the human population. Some more evidence to add to this theory is that in Cars 2, we see a fuel called allanol being used on a lot of the cars. This was a fuel that was supposed to prove to be better for the economy and just save energy all around, but instead, the cars found out that it could be lethal. Many cars died because of this, as it was later discovered that allanol was basically gasoline designed to explode if it came into contact with any sort of common radiation. And who do you think ran this death-provoking, horrible-for-the-environment company? By and large, proving yet again that they wanted for the Earth to be uninhabitable so that they could keep humans on the Axiom forever, always relying on them for everything. It's all part of the evil, self-centered plan of BNL. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe so you don't miss out on any coming videos on Pixar or anything. I also make theories on Harry Potter, Laika, Studio Ghibli, and a few Netflix shows, so go check those out as well. Next time you watch WALL-E, Cars, or any Pixar film with by and large in it, you'll know what their true intentions really are. Enjoy The Incredibles 2, and yeah, see you later.